Rolling the dice in a pandemic. Where were you on March 17th of 2020? You may recall that this is St. Patrick's Day, but you also may recall, if you work in the hospitality industry in the state of Florida, this is the day that we shut down all in-dining restaurant operations in the state of Florida to do our part to help curb the coronavirus pandemic. I'm the events and marketing director at a large waterfront seafood restaurant here in the heart of Key West, Florida. And this particular very busy Friday evening, I'm standing in the front of the operations in what feels like Times Square, New York. The line at the host stand is growing by the minute for people waiting for a table to be seated. The bar is 3 or 4 people deep, happy hour is about to begin. And I have a 150-person event being set up outside for a company celebration. We are given the notice that we have just a few hours to get everyone out. Little did we know how long that would actually take. We did our part, and the days, the hours turned into days, and the days turned into weeks. All the events were refunded, canceled, postponed. And we were shut down, completely shut down. No tourism, our infrastructure couldn't handle it. And to top it off, I had broken my foot playing basketball. I had no income, no job, can't hang out with my friends, and I was depressed. I thought, man, I gotta get out of here. Everything I loved about this town was taken away from me. And so I wobbled to my car and I packed up my belongings. And I decided it was time to drive all the way to my hometown of Catlettsburg, Kentucky. Here, the number of cows far outnumbered the mailboxes. I was running some errands one afternoon, and I was walking by an old, closed antique store, and I happened to peek in the window, and something caught my eye. It was a limited edition Monopoly game featuring the 1996 Kentucky Wildcats for winning the championship in basketball. Go Cats. And I sat there looking at this game, except for the stakes are real. There's no get out of jail free card. There's no payday around the corner. And the world is shut down. But it hit me like a bolt of lightning. I wonder if Key West has ever been done. Could I bring together these two iconic brands, Monopoly, Key West? If you've ever spent any time with my family, you'll know this old saying is true: distance makes the heart grow fonder. So it was time for me to continue my road trip, and I went on to the Lake of the Ozarks to visit some friends. I had many miles to drive and many miles to think about what could possibly go wrong. Could I do this? Could I make this community in a box? And everything I could think of was telling me not to do it. And one morning before the house of friends began to wake up, I sent my first email, and this is really where the work began. I was so excited that whenever I went to leave the lake, I stopped at a large retailer, and I went and bought a traditional Monopoly game. I was so excited that I got to the parking lot, and I opened up the box in the back of my truck. I dissected every inch, every token, every property piece, even those little houses. And it began to take a vision of its own. I became obsessed. But my one little problem became a big problem. I had no money. I was using credit cards for gasoline. I had no money. So I'd actually talked to my dad, who's since passed, and he said, "Son, I don't know a lot about businesses in Key West, but I do know one thing. If they deserve to be on that board, they're going to have some money in the bank." It was better advice than he even knew that he gave me, but it got me excited and ambitious and ready to hit the town of Key West, not in the way I had left it. So I got to town and I started working. I went hard and I would drop that game off with a pair of latex gloves and a bottle of hand sanitizer. Pitch the vision. Imagine your business here. Imagine you here. Can't you see it? And the no's kept coming. "Casey, we'd love to. We just can't right now. Casey, I can't believe this hasn't been done yet, but we're not even open for business." I even had a local prominent businessmen tell me that I should pay him to put his brands on my little board game. It was pretty defeating. But I kept trying. Monopoly's always been about, imagination and resilience, and most importantly, money. So I kept trying and I kept trying, and it just wasn't happening. And then finally, I had an appointment with a man. I said, "John, how's business?" I said, "Oh, it's great. Interest rates are down. People are building. In fact, I've heard about your game. Congratulations. Is Boardwalk and Park Place available?" And in that very moment, I realized, it dawned on me, that I had created all businesses equal when they weren't. I needed to give people a fighting chance. And so I created a sliding scale, and businesses were able to call me back. People were interested again. And before I knew it, the artwork was selected and the sponsors were locked in. And on my birthday, October 14th, one of the best birthdays to date, I held in my hand for the very first time a Key West edition of Monopoly. This is not just a board game. The game itself is a trophy to a city who refused to fold. It is a snapshot for every business who kept fighting, and a tribute to every player, worker who kept dreaming. What I've learned is this: when the world tells you to stop, you can still move. It may not be forward like you think, but it may be inward, laterally, stronger. And when one door closes, you must be creative and create a new door to open. And when the world goes dark, you must be the bright light that shines again. Resilience isn't loud, it is soft. Try again, try again, try again. So yes, I rolled the dice in a pandemic and created the first edition of Key West Monopoly. And my favorite part to tell you of this whole fun experience is I can officially say I bought my very first house in Key West with Monopoly money. Thank you.